Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Ashley and this is Martin Midlife Misadventures. Today we're going to flour it up again and I got a great, my own personal, been working on this for years recipe. Because one of the things I missed when we moved up here, because we don't have access to a regular grocery store, right, are those French bread loaves that you can get in the brown paper from the bakery sections at grocery stores. You know, they're a little like short and fat and they're really a deep brown, but yet they're always super soft. They're just soft and delicious. Well, guess what? I have knocked this off. Like, I have figured out the recipe, and the key to it is margarine. All right, now I know a lot of you don't like margarine, but when you're baking, it is phenomenal. And you need to know that when you're baking with it, it's different than eating it raw, like just putting it on a piece of bread and eating it without it being melted and heated. All right, the margarine is the key. So you can try butter, but I promise you it will not come out the same because I've already tried it. All right, I'm also using some expired yeast, and I will go over that when I show you in the video. And guys, flour it up. Creators, make a video using flour product in any way, okay? Get creative, tag us in it, call it Flour It Up, and we will definitely add you to our Flour It Up playlist. Are you ready, guys? Because this bread is amazing. Let's get started. Today's recipe, and I will write it down below for you: 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 a teaspoon of salt, 1 to 2 tablespoons of margarine, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast, or half a package. We've got 2/3 a cup of warm water, and that is it. Let's go ahead and to the flour, we're going to go ahead and just dump our salt in there. Just dump your salt. All right, I want to show you this because my yeast is old, guys. Look at the best by date on this. July of 22. This yeast was in the bin, in the desert, 120 degrees for almost 3 years, okay? And guess what? I'm going to use the recipe. I'm telling you, if you have good yeast, make sure you use the 1.5 teaspoons. If your yeast is old like mine, use the entire packet. Dump your sugar right into there, your 2 tablespoons, and we're going to give it just a tiny little stir. And we're going to let this sit for a minimum of 5 minutes. There will be some yeast within this package that's good enough to start rising, okay? So 5 minutes, let it rest. Would you look at this yeast? I mean, really, look at how much that is bubbling, okay? Never assume your yeast is bad because the date is off. This is a year past its best by date. Sat in the desert for 3 years outdoors, okay? Always test it out first. This is awesome. Now we're going to make a little well in the middle here, and we are going to add all of our yeast mixture in here. Get it all in there. Get all that sugary goodness that's at the bottom. Okay, we've got everyone in the pot except for the margarine, and we're going to go ahead and by hand, we're going to start mixing this up. We're not adding the margarine yet, okay? I'm going to mix this up. Just keep mixing it. See how it's kind of shaggy, and that's because we don't have the margarine in it yet, but you really want to get this yeast mixed into here. I'm going to need this. Okay, I'm about a minute into the mixing, and I can tell that this is a pretty firm dough already, but yet not as wet as I expected it to be. So we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of margarine, and we might have to sprinkle a little flour. We've got our 1 tablespoon. We're going to stick it down in there, and we're just going to start working it into the dough. Okay, just keep folding it on itself, and you're going to do this for a couple of minutes. It's hard for me to do with the one hand. Just keep at it and get it all incorporated. Now I wanted to show you because see how the butter is starting to come out of the dough? That's okay. Just keep turning it on top of itself. I promise you it'll work itself in. And if you're feeling like it's getting a little too wet, just get you a little sprinkle of flour and do that. If you feel like it comes out too dry, just add you a little bit more butter or margarine. Anyway, I'm going to keep working this. Remember, we are on our first tablespoon. All right, I've been kneading for about 30 seconds, and you can already see how the margarine is really getting worked into the dough. It's not as sticky. See, it's not sticking. So you're just going to keep working this, okay, for about a minute more. All right, after another minute, this is where we're at. And this dough is actually looking quite perfect. Okay, see how I can grab it? It's not sticking, but yet it's not dry, okay? So I am not going to add the second tablespoon. Now, the reason I have the option for that, it's all about weather. It's been pouring rain here for days. It's super humid, and I think that's why the dough isn't ready for a second tablespoon, okay? So that's something you just got to feel for. Like I said, look, it's not sticking. That's when you know, but it's soft, and it's not dry, okay? All right, now I've taken my gloves out because I want you to see that even with my gloves off, it's not sticking, okay? See how it comes completely off? That's how you know your dough is ready. Work it into a little ball and just set it down in the center of your bowl here. I like to take a little piece of parchment paper, or you could use plastic wrap, whatever works best for you. And I just lay it in there like that, and I loosely cover it with my lid. I'm going to set this in a warm place for about an hour to an hour and a half. All right, it's been an hour. Let's check on our dough. I can already tell we've got some good rising, and I got to pull this off slowly so it doesn't stick. Look at that. If you could smell it, I want you to see, I'm just picking it up. It is stuck. I did not oil this pan, but look at that. Now I can pull it out of the bowl, and I want you to see the stretch on that? See how it's not sticking to my hands? Now all we're going to do is kind of make like a little, I don't know, a log, a brick, whatever you want to call it. Keep stretching it like this. Then roll it up like a big old cinnamon roll. Like that. See that? Now, take your little ends here, just kind of smush them and tuck them under like that. Both ends. Kind of smush it and then tuck them under like that. Now, I've got a piece of parchment paper over my little cookie sheet here. And I'm not squished. See, it's already starting to make little air pockets. That's a good sign. So we're just going to press it down a little, just kind of. Now, we're going for that grocery store 99-cent loaf we used to be able to get that always is kind of soft. Take your knife and down the center. Oh, this one's not sharp enough. Oh, yeah, it is. Cut a slit. About maybe 1/8 of an inch. Can you see that? How you always see the split on the top. And now, I'm just going to take this little piece of parchment and cover it up here. Put a tea towel over it, and I'm going to let it sit for another 30 minutes, and then we're going to bake it. All right, we got to preheat our oven to 375. Let's check on our bread. Alrighty. I'll pull it slow. Look at that. Look at that. Just press those little things down there. That looks amazing. We're going to put it into our 375 degree oven. I have a tiny little oven. Works great though. We're going to start checking it at about the 15-minute mark, okay? This should take between 15 and 24 minutes. It all depends on your oven. It'll be so golden brown. See you when it's done. All right, I have a little butter here in a dish. I'm going to get my bread out. It's been 15 minutes for us, okay? Cooks really fast. Looks nice and dark, but trust me, it's very, very soft. So, right away, while it's super hot, get you a little, what are these called? Little basters. Get your butter on there and watch. It'll start steaming. It'll just soak it up and it'll make this perfectly soft, just like we get at the grocery store bakeries. Used to only be 99 cents. Now I think they've gone up quite a bit. And that's it. We're going to let it cool, and then I'm going to take it to Grandpa's, and we're going to have a great celebration. But in the meantime, I do have a piece from one I made yesterday and turned into garlic bread. Let me show you underneath the bread. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, really, isn't it beautiful? It is so good. Let me show you the one from last night, okay? Because this one I turned into some like cheesy garlic bread, and it's been in this foil for over 24 hours. It's still good. Look at this. Look at this was a top portion, so you can see. They look very much the same, but this one looks drier, and look at that. Even the dark spots. Everything is soft, just like those grocery store loaves in the brown bag. The inside is still soft. This is amazing. All right, everybody, what do you think about that bread? It is amazing, and I made this bread for Grandpa's birthday because it's Grandpa's birthday, and it is gonna be just perfect. I really hope that you will give this a try and let us know when you try it, because I stand by what I said. I knocked this thing off, guys. This bread is out of the world. Everyone who eats it is like, oh my gosh, Ashley, that is amazing. So give it a try. We are going to be talking to you really soon. Keep stacking it to the rafters, guys. God bless you all.